All right, welcome into the Questionable Podcast. You got Scotty questions here with Miko. No, but Gionne. What's happening?
What's good, man?
How are you?
What's good, man?
What's good? What's good? You doing the Miko?
Yeah, he's got such a good line, and he's not here, so I figured I'd say it.
Lob it in for him. Thank you for that. He is sorely missed as we set up today already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's not things didn't completely collapse without him, because we're here, we're doing it, but it was tough getting there.
Longer than normal.
Much
is
longer
what
than
happened.
normal.
Miko is missed. Yes, he is. So anyways, so welcome in. Please like, follow, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are continuing to grow that, so we appreciate all the support and anything everybody can do for us to help share what we're doing here. So today we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to touch on maybe a movie or two, but we're going to talk a little bit of NHL. We're going to talk some Lions, and we're going to talk a little DMAC versus Sam Flannel, which was really funny. So anyway, so again, thank you for being here. Gionne, it's you and me. I don't know how to do this like side by side. You guys have done it before. I have not.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's scary. It's a little scary to me. There's a lot of me on the screen. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's a much bigger image.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have stuff in my teeth because the other one you wouldn't have.
No, you just have stuff in your nose. You're from blowing your nose. You're fine though. It's gone. Just kidding.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm having allergies for those who are.
It's LA problems. It's fine.
Yeah. Hot and dry. Hot, dry, and dusty.
That's fine. It was 100 today here. 99, I think. So we're trying to catch up, I guess. It's just, we're not used to it. We're used to the rain and the snow and so on and so forth. So before we get into it, I saw the Maverick movie last week, and it was unbelievable. I'm sorry. Yes, a little bit of propaganda we talked before. Yes, sure.
But very well made. Very well made.
So I watched every single trailer and every single behind the scenes I could before, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to go to theater. I was trying to wait because I'm like, no, I don't need to go, and I should go. So I went. Unbelievable. I didn't go IMAX. I think I'm going to go back to doing IMAX. I'm going to see it again because it was so fast. I think I missed a bunch of stuff. It was unbelievable. And to me, the craziest part is I didn't know Tom Cruise was actually flying these jets. So he was flying, not all of it, like the really crazy stunts that happen, and he's not. However, the scene where in the trailer where they're flying that jet 30 feet above ground, that's Tom Cruise.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, no way. He flew. Oh, what's his face? Who's the guy that does the car karaoke? Late night guy. Late night with
Corden.
Yeah, James Corden. Tom Cruise invited Corden out, and he was so excited. He's like, thank you for inviting him. He's like, nobody else accepted. Because he had to fly in the planes with him, and Tom was flying him around. So in the first plane, they flew an old plane from World War II, and Corden puked all over at the end. It was great. And then Tom started doing like 360s, upside down flying, and Corden puked on that. And then he was like, all right, cool, thanks. We're going back today, right? He goes, no, we're going to fly the jet today. So then the next day they flew the jet, like one of the jets they flew for the movie. And it was way faster, and he was like freaking out. And so to watch James Corden's face when they did some of the maneuvers, and then to watch Tom Cruise's face and these actors' faces in this movie, they were really doing it. I can't. Yeah.
They were like pulling 9 Gs.
Like pulling 9 Gs. Tom Cruise, I think Tom got up to 10. Like his face looked like it was. I mean, for those not on, those listening in podcast, I'm pulling my face down. It looked like an elephant was sitting on him. It was out of this world. And then after that, I watched like every single Mission Impossible. I'm like, all these stunts he did. And I'm like, you know what? He's like the last action hero almost a little bit. Like,
oh yeah, no, he costs. So for our listeners, I'm in LA.
hey,
And I'm
sorry.
And I suppose I'm in the business. I worked in on set and in production offices and in various departments for about 8 years. And Tom Cruise costs productions a lot of money because of the insurance premiums that go way up. Because he does all of his own stunts, he insists on it. And one of my
he's gonna die one of these days.
Well, one of my cousins, really good friend, was like production supervisor, assistant director, on one of the Mission Impossibles, the one where he's like hanging off of a helicopter, and he's like
not when he's connected to a plane.
Yeah, and so he actually did that, like with no safety rope, no anything. And in one of the takes, he fell, and he said that the AD just said over the they all have walkie-talkies.
I remember seeing behind the scenes of this. He fell off the helicopter, and there was a bundle, and he grabbed onto the bundle himself.
And but from the vantage point of everyone on the ground, they couldn't see. So what the AD said over the walkie was just, "We lost Tom."
Stop.
Simply, we lost Tom. And so, but no, he like grabbed on, he fell into like a cargo net or like grabbed onto it or something. But yeah, no, he like literally was hanging onto a helicopter with no safety, nothing, hundreds of feet above the air. Insurance, like they have to pay so much money to insure these shoots because of it.
Shout out to Tom Cruise, the last action hero.
Yeah. So in that podcast I was telling you about, they were saying that he like absolutely, like he cannot die of natural causes. Like he has to die filming. Like he needs to ascend into Valhalla.
Like Bruce Lee.
Yeah, like he needs to die doing a stunt. That's the only acceptable death for him at this point. Anything else will just feel, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's probably what's going to happen, though. Like that, right? Like,
yeah.
Tom Cruise got hit by a bus crossing the street today,
right? Or just like Tom Cruise has diabetes, like he needed to get his foot.
The way he runs for every movie, that's not happening, guy. And Mission Impossibles, it's just him running.
Right.
I went through like the sequence because the new one comes out next year. They teased that before Maverick, obviously. And yeah, he's just running the whole time, guys. I'm like, he still got it. He's probably in like a 4-minute mile. He's crushing in dress shoes.
Yeah,
5 minutes. I'm kidding. I'm embellishing, but anyway, Tom. And before the movie, which was interesting because of COVID, he had a note to everybody. Thank you for coming to the theater. I really appreciate you coming to the theater. We made this for the theater, and we want to thank you for being here. We made this for you guys. You know, that was the guy can play to the crowd. I mean, whatever he's done in his life, right? I mean, with his family and stuff like that. But I mean, he knows how to play the game.
Yeah, there's a reason he's like a cult leader.
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking about joining. Right. Not obvious enough.
So there's they don't just not just anyone can like effectively lead a cult, and he's got the charisma to do it. I mean,
so anyway,
no. Well, one question I had for you before we move on,
to
the reason why people tune into the show. What is your go-to movie snack situation?
Ooh,
in theater.
Ooh.
In theater.
Well, for Luke G, it's obviously something with ketchup. Just so he's aware, right? I got ketchup poured all over it, Luke, just for you, bro. So no, I I was on the phone with you actually
I
when I was
know.
walking in. That's why he's asking. So I'm a popcorn guy, right? My mom grew up on a farm, and their big thing, they watch movies and popcorn, and they make homemade white popcorn, and so popcorn's huge in my family. I can make a mean, like, and John knows this. I can
It's
make a
true. It's
mean
very
bowl
true.
of popcorn.
Yes.
But it's like 4 bowls when I make it. It's not like
Yeah.
one. It's like 4
Yeah.
giant silver bowls. It's like not 4, but like it's 3, 2.5.
That's definitely like a secret skill Scott has. Is he
Yes,
like the best popcorn you'll ever eat?
that's
I don't
I
know
can
how.
crush some popcorn. It's funny. We should do a questionable screening, and I'll make popcorn for everybody. It'll be great. Call in some reinforcements. Jane, get Aunt Jill out there too. They can crush some popcorn. My mom, my aunt. Anyway, so yeah, so I went obviously popcorn, straight up popcorn, and then frozen Coke.
Okay.
Frozen Coke. I was thinking I'm just gonna get a Coke, and I'm like, and then I see the giant frozen Coke machine. I'm like, oh yeah, they have those here. Yeah, I'm gonna need a large. So I ordered a extra large Coke, but used it with a icy machine.
Okay.
So I got the bag. So I got the biggest cup they get, and so I got an icy in it because I don't think you're supposed to. I didn't clarify. Said, but they gave me the big one. So
yeah.
So I did pop, but it's I think it was I don't remember. Was it a medium or small? I think it was a small.
Small popcorn, extra large frozen Coke?
No, medium. No, because yes, I did a medium.
Proportions are way off.
Stop it. I did a medium popcorn because they have the small, medium, large, extra large Magnum. So I did medium because I figure you never really get to the bottom of the popcorn. So I was like, the small is the amount I'm going to eat, but the medium will give me the good amount of kernels, and then the stuff I won't eat is fine. So I'll get what I want in the medium. So medium was the correct decision. I had about like that much left in the bottom. It was perfect. I didn't have to go digging. So the medium's great. And then yes, the extra large for sure, because you're so excited in a movie, you're just sucking down a Slurpee, like you get into it. I don't know.
No, I get it.
So that's what I did. And I was thinking about candy. I go, do I need a dessert? No, I did not go with candy. I would have gone with like Swedish Fish probably, or some Sour Patch Kids. Classic. I love Sour Patch Kids. But I didn't. I just went with, I kept it real and honest. I just did the medium popcorn and a giant slushy Coke.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
And it got me through about like 80% of the film. And then I'm like, God, I wish I had some more popcorn. I was like, I don't need it. And then my Slurpee was getting low. And I'm like, oh God, like, I just wish I can I get like 20% more? It was one of those like,
right.
Oh God. And then when I got there, kids were obviously in my seat. So I didn't sit in my seat. I sat next to them. I'm like, all right, I'll let these kids go. And then the people came and sat in the seats. I had to move over. I'm like, all right, clowns. They were clearly skipping school. I was like, all right, you guys go. And then they all like left. I don't know where they went. Where'd you guys go? And then I saw them. They moved 4 different seats. Like they sat in the handicap seats, and they moved to the other side of the handicap seats, and they sat like up close front row. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And then with like half an hour left in the movie, they disappeared. And I'm like, they just didn't even finish the movie. Oh, they probably didn't get back to class. Anyway. It was very exciting. I haven't been to a movie in years. So
yeah,
for those that haven't been, it's they've cleaned them up. I mean, it was great. So, and Maverick, obviously recommend that. Very, very, very exciting, and probably for the big screen. God, I want to go see it again now. Anyways, so all right, we got to get into some sports here, though.
Yeah.
After the movie talk, we get into some movie talk later, but anyway, yeah. So no Miko tonight. Clearly, that's why we're talking movies up front. Yeah. Yes, I saw Maverick. Yes, Miko is with his family. For those that know, they got championships for dance. So good luck to the girls on that. I think they'll win. So I hope they will. So fingers crossed for that. And then the NHL awards were tonight, and we were correct. Thank you. Mo Seider did win Rookie of the Year. So that's official. Not shocking, but very, you never know. So very happy Mo Seider was awarded the Calder Trophy. A couple other notable awards. The Hart Hart Trophy went to Austin Matthews. The Vezina Trophy went to Igor Shesterkin. So Austin Matthews, and then Igor Shesterkin with the Rangers. Ted Lindsay Award, who's a classic Red Wing. We do a lot of work with the Ted Lindsay Foundation. Also went to Austin Matthews. And the Norris Trophy went to Cale Mocker for the Avs. And they're still playing. And they're playing the Lightning right now. And the Avs are up 2-1. And I am very much rooting for the Lightning against the Avs. And having said that, the documentary for Unrivaled, which is the Wings versus Avs, where our Game Over apparel will be featured, will be airing this Sunday, the 26th, for those that care. This documentary is basically the rivalry between the Wings and the Avalanche and the hit on Chris Draper that Darren McCarty got Claude Lemieux back from. And that's what our Game Over apparel was designed from. And so it's a 20th anniversary of that. We were at the Darren McCarty event, and we were able to meet Claude Lemieux, share our story, and it was exciting to see that. ESPN was there. So this is an E60, so it's a 60-minute piece, not a 30-minute, not 30 for 30. It's 60 minutes. You know, they're going to have a preview of it in Little Caesars Arena on Saturday. So if anybody's downtown, go down and check it out. But if not, it'll air on TV on Sunday. So that's pretty cool, John.
That is pretty cool. Exposure in the big leagues.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm hoping they close out with a shot of like the Game Over at the end, but we'll see. $20, you know, who knows if it even like makes the air. That's me being negative. No, it's going to be all over it. So I'm going to be positive. Anyway, so that's so that's the NHL piece. And then speaking of hockey, Sam Flannel on Woodward Sports Network called up Darren McCarty a couple of days ago, and I just got wind of this because we've been so busy. My mom shared it. So Jane actually shared it with me today. I was in the office today. We have a big meeting on Monday. For those that know, they know. So wish us luck. For those that don't, you'll find out. And yep. And so I was meeting with Jane, just checking out the office, and she was saying, "Did you see Darren defending himself?" I'm like, "For what? Like, you know, he always defends himself." And she was, no, about like winning his cups. And I'm like, no. And so we found it, and I watched it. It's a 15-minute piece, and it's very interesting. So Sam Flannel works in the booth for Woodward Sports with Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and and so Sam Flannel calls out Darren McCarty and says, you know, the concept it started, I think, John, correct me if I'm wrong, is, would you rather be a Hall of Fame player with no cups, no championships, or a four-string player that won a bunch of championships, right? So Neil Rule obviously goes and starts us off with, I'd rather be the Hall of Famer to get the max contracts. I don't care about winning. I want the bag, right? So Neil Rule wants the cash. Okay, thanks, Neil. Whatever. And then, you know, so Sam Flannel asks Darren, or says to Darren, that you were lucky to be on the team with Yzerman and Fedorov and those guys. And what's interesting is Darren does a fantastic job of explaining it wasn't luck. Like, luck didn't get me there. And these fourth line guys are just as important as the Hall of Famers, because who's going to lay down and take that shot? Who's going to lay down and do these things so the other guys can be the heroes? And so that's one piece, John. I've been talking for a minute here, but I want to share with you now. Please take over.
Yeah, it was a very curious, interesting read, parentheses dumb, I think, nit to pick, especially with like the guy who was on the team, because like it's one thing for me to, you know, talk to Scott about this stuff. Should the Red Wings have done XYZ? I think like it's another thing to do it to an actual Red Wing. And Darren's credit, he said, you know, he didn't take offense, and you know, there's no reason to take offense. It's just an opinion. But at the same time,
I'm Stanley Cup champion Red Wing.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, so I've been doing this a lot lately, not just with sports journalism, but like with all journalism, because it really seems to get like,
I'm a real journalism. Shout out.
It just seems to be this thing like, what are you actually saying? Like, I know you have your take, like, and his take was that, Darren McCarty wasn't as important as Steve Yzerman, roughly. Like, then, I mean, yeah, no shit. I mean, Steve Yzerman's like, so they have these takes, but then they never kind of like back up and think of, what am I actually saying here? And he said, and one thing that Sam Flannel definitely said was, it was called the grind line for a reason, not the top line. And so, okay, like, great, like, let's run with that. The top line is the top line for a reason, because there has never been a team in the history of sports that has been an entire roster of Hall of Famers. Like,
Right.
that doesn't happen. And like, so that's what I mean when I'm saying, like, okay, well, what are you actually saying? That you want an entire team made up of Sergei Fedorovs? And I think that's what got Darren so irritated, is because, like, on its surface, like, that's really dumb. And like, the fact that, I don't know, I feel like he got a little wrapped up trying to make this point about, I don't know, putting Darren in his place, or like, but Darren kept being like, yeah, it's a team game. It's a team. And like, that was basically the heart of all of Darren's responses, was like, this is a team game. And then Sam just kept kind of firing back and being like, oh, well, yeah, some players are better than others. And Darren was like, yeah, some players, some players are better than others. Like, that doesn't mean that the players that aren't as good as the Fedorovs and the Yzermans and the Lidstroms aren't important, because, and then it was great. Sam Flannel was like, oh, well, they would have won without you in, I can't remember, like 2002. And then Darren immediately
really need you. Yeah.
Well, and then immediately fired back, was like, he's like, disagree, because who scored the hat trick in game one, leading him to that conference? Everything's like, that was me. And so, like, and I think this goes, I think this really, now that I'm saying these things out loud.
Yeah, with you, it was him, and then Draper won a game, and then Darren had an overtime game winner the other year. And then, to Darren's point, he goes, the only year I really didn't, like, that I didn't contribute on the ice in a win was 08. He said, however, my role in the locker room was super important with Babcock. My role was culture. And so,
and Sam Flannel proceeded to kind of say that culture doesn't matter, in not so many words, but
he believes culture doesn't matter in any team. Like, that's he has said that on a number of occasions. And again, we're not really bashing on anybody. We're explaining what was said.
Right. Correct? Well, I mean, I could bash some. That's a stupid thing to say too, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, no, but like, so Darren's contribution to the Red Wings kind of reminds me of what we have been talking about in the Lions, about floor versus ceiling, about, you got these high ceiling guys, you have these high floor guys. And yeah, Evan Brown isn't Frank Ragnow, but he came in and he held his own. And at the end of the season, we went 3-3-1. And like, yeah, he's not Frank Ragnow. Frank Ragnow's all pro, not even Pro Bowl, all pro. And yeah, it just so to seem to dismiss, or belittle is not the right word, but like to kind of take for granted
fair
to the contributions of those guys is frankly, like, is absurd. It's absurd, because it is a team game. I mean, and I think that goes to the heart of why I ultimately agree with Darren in that, give me the championship. Right. I would take the championships over contract, over over stats. Right. Personally, and again, someone can be like that. I'm not going to call, like, if you have a personal preference, if like Neil Rule, he wants the bag, that's him. I'm not going to say that's stupid. I'm not like, that's his preference, and that's totally fine.
Totally fine.
Like, and but yeah, personally, I'd take the championships, and I think that was the heart of what Darren was saying, is because it's a team, you guys. Like this is a group effort, and yeah, we can't all be the same skill level, we can't all be on the ice at the same time, and certain things happen when certain guys aren't on the ice, and like what wins and loses games. Look, we talked about this with the Lions, it's depth. You can't have every single player playing
Right.
every single snap, so who comes in to give them rest? Like that's what carries teams deep into the plainplayoffs is depth.
Yeah. So to your point, championships, right? We're talking championships. We're not talking practice. I ain't talking about practice. We ain't talking about Hall of Fame. We're talking championships. And when people want to talk about Lions, we want to talk about the Super Bowl, right? We want to win that. We want to get to the playoffs and win that, right? So to do that, you need a team. And so I think, John, to your point, and I think to what I took away from this argument or debate as well was the fact that you can't have the Isermans, the Fedorovs without the Darren McCartys, Drapers, and Malpes. You cannot.
Yeah.
And to Darren's point is like, Sam Flannel was talking, said something about the grind line. He goes, "What'd you say?" And he goes, "Grind line." He goes, "Exactly. They named our line. So are we really fourth line?" Like it's not about fourth line. It's a teammate. Right. So to your point, I don't think it's about fourth liners. It's a teammate. And I think that's what was missed. And what Darren probably could have said is like, dude, I'm not a fourth liner. I'm a teammate. It didn't matter. Right. And Darren said at the end, which was awesome, he goes, "I don't care about stats. I care about championships. I'd rather have 4 cups and 4 Hall of Fame moments and be on the grind line than be a Hall of Famer." Right. Yeah. Which I think the best way to sign up. To me, that was awesome because he has that breakaway game winner. He has a natural hat trick. Like he made Patrick Waugh look stupid. And he was the best goalie at the time. Yeah. And his influence in the Claude Lemieux fight and retaliation for Claude Lemieux boarding Draper, which I have on right now as inspiration, the Russian 5 documentary. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's amazing.
That's something I want to touch on. Like, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, like, and I think that like a point that kind of Sam McCarty never really spoke to it specifically, but the first couple of years when Sidney Crosby was the hottest commodity in the NHL, his rookie year, I still remember the NHL ads where they had, showing it like blah, 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 Wayne Gretzky, the great one. And then it's Sidney Crosby, the next one. I mean, he was touted as the next Gretzky, but then teams were like, "Oh, we're just going to beat the hell out of you."
Yeah.
And Penguins didn't have anyone who did what McCarty did to Claude Lemieux.
Yeah, and so it took them a little bit longer to win their cups because of that.
And it took them longer to win their cups because of it. Because like hockey is that kind of a game. Like to McCarty's point right there, like Crosby got concussed into oblivion because there was no Darren McCarty on that team on the Penguins for like the first, I think, year or two. It took them a while. They eventually got one. And when they did, that's when they started winning cups. So
Sidney
like
Crosby is still 1 concussion away from never playing again, by the way.
Yeah. So like, so like, and so I think that's another reason why I side with Darren. And I think Sam, I don't know. I think it was just really poorly thought out.
Well, I'm with you, and we're on the same page, I believe, and we can continue with this. I think that also what Darren forgot to mention, what he said before, is that Scotty Bowman coached the grind line for specific moments, right? He made sure those guys were as prepared as the top guys. I mean, he had those guys for specific moments. Like when the top guys, like Darren said, when the top guys couldn't get it done, who got it done? And that's what Darren said. Who got it done? Who got it done? The grind line. They got it done. They did. They scored. They got in. They got dirty. They got hurt, but they scored some grimy goals that changed the playoff tournament. Excuse me. So, I mean, it's very interesting. And as we're talking about this, right? So I was listening to this whole thing and all I thought was Lions, right? So this is full circle, guys. I know that took a second, but all I thought was the Lions. And the players that won't get talked about, right? Like the ones we're talking about, we have been talking about. There's so many players that will not get talked about that are role players that will help this team. And why I think the Lions will do well this year is because of those guys. because of the culture, right? With Sam Flannel doesn't think culture matters. It looks like he hasn't played a sport in his life. No offense, Sam Flannel, but I don't think you've been on a team sport. I mean, I played in a lot of team sports. I played like professional enough that I know that you have to have a culture. And if you don't, you're going nowhere. And so that is where I think we circle back here with the Lions. And I think what Dan Campbell has done is I can relate it to Scotty Bowman. He knows who his guys are. He knows who his dogs are. He knows who the boys are. He knows the role play. He knows the team so well right now. And the key is you have to motivate all of those players at the exact same time, but in 900 different ways. And what McCarty's always said is Bowman knew what to say to me at the right time, to him. And not only like he had to say something else, something different to somebody else. You can't say the same thing to Darren you say to Steve Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov. No.
Right.
Come on. I mean, they had to get the Russian 5 to get Sergei to the level that he was capable of. Really. That's why they got him. He was depressed when Sergei came over. He needed some family around him. That's why they got the other Russian players, right? I mean, that was a big part of why. So I think that it really does relate. The last dynasty in Detroit was the Wings, correct? Right? Yeah. So in watching that and seeing that, I think and I believe I'm starting to see flashes in the Lions of what Dan and Holmes are doing. Like, I really think that I'm seeing the beginning of that. I hope I'm right. I really do, because God forbid the Lions are that good. Detroit's going to go crazy. No, the other thing, dude, people are coming up to me on the street. Like, if I have my Lions stuff on, they're like, "Oh, Lions fan." Like, people love Dan Campbell, man. Like you said, the guy you met at your event, at your red carpet, he was he was
from Maryland. He was from Maryland. And he knew who Dan Campbell was.
I mean, they really are starting to build something special and very Detroit based, right? From the ground up, picking themselves up and just going at it. And what better way to do it from the bottom to the top? 3 wins. Let's go. In the next couple of years, I just think there's something there. I think I can relate it to the Wings. I think that Darren and Sam gave us some very good content in order to relate it. I'm shocked they didn't relate it to the Lions. But anyway, we can't. So we're taking full advantage of that. So anything else I missed? Darren said a lot of stuff that was very interesting in that, actually.
No, that was pretty much it. And the only thing I wanted to add to this was, Chris Board, I think it was Chris Board, said he had offers from several teams and he picked the Lions because of the culture. Same with DJ Chark. He said the exact same thing. And so I don't know. I don't understand. I would love to hear his argument for why culture doesn't matter. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they've done a video on it. I'm sure they've done, segments on it. So I'm sure I could find it if I dug for it, but I don't know. It's just very interesting when you have guys of DJ Chark's caliber coming in saying that they picked Detroit specifically for the culture. When you have guys like Chris Board saying they had multiple offers and I chose this place because of the camaraderie and the culture.
That's a first, I think, in the Lions history. I can't mean
for the Lions. Yeah.
That's great. And then rumors, big rumors. And Dominic too. Anybody? No.
How old is he? I'm not asking this as in like, oh, I don't want him on the team. He's too old. I genuinely don't know.
No, I don't know how old he is. He's older. He wants to play for another year or 2. That's what I've heard. He tweeted he was interested in the Raiders and he's been talking to the Vikings. So
he's 35 years old.
Okay.
I don't want to see him on the Vikings. That's for sure.
Correct. I'm with you on that. I don't. That's not good because he'll land on Goff and that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but the Lions. I mean, do we need him? Do we?
I mean, I guess it all depends on how much he has left in the tank and how much he costs.
I don't know. I don't think they sign him. He's too old. I think they go with what we got.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
And that's part of the plan. That's just, your team is made up of guys you hand select in the draft, as Eric Schlitz said it. And I think that's spot on. I think that's absolutely what they're going for. That the bulk of your team are guys that you hand select. And it was, who said it? One of the coaches in the Tim Twentyman in the huddle. He was interviewing maybe Todd Wash, the D-line coach. He said he loves getting the guys out of college because he's like they're a ball of clay. You can mold them any way you want. When you get veterans, you've got to, especially if they're coming from a different scheme, different system, you've got to unlearn. There's a lot of unlearning that needs to take place before you can get them into that mindset where the moves they need to make become instinctual. But the guys coming out of college, like that's, and the system, this way is the only way they know, then those decisions are happening a split second faster times 11 guys. And that adds up to, it's just exponential at that point.
So speaking of that, with injuries, what we were talking earlier, was it Jacobs you were talking about? Earlier today we were talking about Okudah a little bit, but not but looking past Okudah, was it who was it that you were talking about? Jacobs?
Was it? I don't remember this. I think you were hallucinating.
Really?
No. I mean Jerry Jacobs sent out the tweet that he's got like one more month that
yeah, so it was Jerry Jacobs, and we were talking, and maybe you're hallucinating, but you were saying how it'll be interesting to watch him more than Okudah because the way he was playing last year, before he got injured. Yes, we talked. Oh wow, we talked about this.
Okay. No, well, I mean, it's going to be. I mean, it ties into what we were talking about having just great depth. Is that Jerry Jacobs looked like a very serviceable cornerback at the end of the season. And if Okudah comes back, and he's used the time to, get his mental game to where it needs to be, and he's reading defenses, and, he's the CB1 that we always, hoped that he would be. Having Jerry Jacobs on the other side, or having Jerry Jacobs go in when Okudah needs to come out.
Right. That's all we were talking about. It was nothing crazy. It was just something we talked about that I thought was topical in this situation. That was all. It wasn't like a whole big to do. So sorry.
Apology accepted.
I'm not really sorry. I gotta turn up my sound effects. They never really come through in the podcast. That's better. Anyway, yeah. So again, we go back to the culture and we go back to this and that, but I really can't wait for Hard Knocks, and we're a month out, right? Just about. We're getting really close.
Well, yeah. Another thing that got me excited for Hard Knocks is
speaking of that, let's talk about how hammered are we too. But what you go ahead with Hard Knocks?
Well, it goes back to the Detroit Lions media team are killing it, and they put out this Father's Day video of having the players change a diaper, and it was fantastic because they pretty much paired guys up, one who is a parent and then one who is not, and it was very, very interesting. It was very funny to see because they paired up Penei Sewell and Vaitai, and Vaitai has a couple kids, Penei Sewell does not. Michael Brockers has, I think, 3 kids, and Jamal Williams has kids. DJ Chark kind of had the line of the segment for me when he was like, "Oh man, this is so easy because the kid's not squirming around; it's not moving."
Right.
So this is easier than change. This couldn't be easier.
Actually changing a diaper.
Yeah, and so yeah, and like so, just the personalities that came out, and I sent you guys a is that Deshaun Elliott, who's a chef. He has his own restaurant, and when he's done in the NFL, he's going to culinary school, and he has no ambitions to work in a top tier restaurant. He said he's supposed to be chef dad, but he just loves cooking, and it's just something he always loves and he's always wanted to do, and so he's just going to do it. And I think you've got Frank Ragnow, Grizzly Man Outdoors, Jamal Williams, you got Chef Deshaun Elliott, and who is it? Who's the photographer? It's either Charles Harris or Michael Brockers. I think one of the D-line guys is
I don't remember.
Amateur like a very, very accomplished photographer. And I just think Campbell has this attitude of so long as you're working hard and so long as you're kind of mentally here, then this is just a game. This is a part of who you are, and we want a specific type of person. We want dogs, we want football players, but we understand that you're a whole person.
But they want those that love the game, right? That's what we saw.
Right. Yeah.
Combine and from the draft picks is those that love the game. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is get a bunch of people that love the game the same amount, so we're all going the same direction really quickly. And if you love the game and you love where they're you love the game, then you'll love where they're headed, right? With our coaching staff. I think you also in that you were saying who was jacked beyond belief this year?
Levi Onwuzurike.
Yeah, that was, I think, where you were headed with that, is in that photo for the Father's Day stuff. Levi stepped in and was like, wait, what?
Yeah, because we kept hearing reports. Taylor Decker said
rumors
in one of his media availabilities. Taylor Decker said that Levi Onwuzurike looks like, quote, a dude among dudes. And Todd Wash, the D-line coach, said that Levi came in for the first time completely fully healthy, and that's got him very excited. So I pull up the full quote here. He said that there were actually times last season where Levi could barely get into a stance at the line. He was so twisted up. He said this training staff has done an amazing job with him, and he looks, quote, rocked and chiseled. To play off what Taylor Decker said, that he was a dude among dudes. And the system that they're implementing on the D-line is the same system Levi played in college. And Todd Wash closed with, so we're seeing a lot of flashes of why we drafted him where we drafted him. So of all this talk about how Levi looks like a completely new person, I've been trying to find photos specifically of him from OTAs, and I couldn't find any. But then he was in this Father's Day video, and my God, he's standing next to Aleem McNeil, and his arms are as big as Aleem McNeil's, but even more defined. It looks crazy.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Right. I mean, and so to your point with that, I hope that our fitness team, I mean, that's a big thing, right? Injuries have been a big issue for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get that sorted this year. It's the same team, I believe, right on the lines. I don't think anybody changed there in leadership. Not that I know, but I think it's the same
with
team.
The training staff?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's
I think it's the same. I think it's the same. So anyway, those in comments, if you know, I mean, please let us know below, because I can adjust that. But I think it's the same group. And to your point of culture, did you hear that they had a combine for all of the columnists and for the beat writers?
No.
Yeah, they had a
Lions
combine. The Lions held a combine for all the Detroit beat writers and columnists.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Right.
What did they do?
Jeremy was there, so they had to do kicks. They had to do kicks. They had to do some basketball stuff. I think it was a 3-point shot. They had to do field goals. They had to catch passes. They had to catch punts, and then they had to do the chip, right? The golfing chip, I think, is what they had to do too.
Oh my gosh!
Right, so they did all that stuff, right? And Jeremy was like, "I'm just glad I survived." And shout out to Jeremy. And Eric Schlitt did well though. I think he was second or third. So shout out to Eric. Good job, E. He was, and so because I think Tim Twentyman won.
Really?
Yeah,
interesting.
I think he won. And yeah, so they said who was the, they had Locked On Lions. They had Tim 21 on, and they said on shout out to Derek Speaks, love what you do. But anyway, he had Tim 21 on, and they were saying that Eric Schlitt was like in it, like close, like it was like closer than he thought.
Oh, good for Eric.
So yeah, right, for sure. But yes, they had all this stuff, and Tim was like, "Why, Derry? Why weren't you there?" He goes, "Well, I'm not a beat writer, man. I'm just an entertainer." And he goes, "No, there were other guys there like that. You got to get in." And so, I think we need to get the questionable crew in there somehow next year.
It'd be incredible. I would love to do that.
I think that you, Miko, and I could crush.
Oh yeah, we'd be 1, 2, 3. Me being 1.
Oh, Jesus. Unbelievable, Miko. Miko, where are you? Miko, where are you? I don't know.
No, but again, like I'm so curious as to who in the organization had that idea, because that's so great. It's so
PR
fun.
That's a PR team. Guaranteed.
That's a what?
PR and marketing team.
I mean, bravo. So, that's like they're like, it just seems, like they're firing on all cylinders.
It's a no-brainer, but no, I haven't seen anybody else do it. Now the Lions haven't been good in a while, so why would anybody want to do that, right? So now that we're getting better, I mean, maybe they do this other places. I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but no, it was fantastic. So shout out to the Lions again. So not only the Lions like video team, but the marketing team.
Yeah, PR team.
We worked out. We did some shirts for the head of marketing, right? So I mean, that's good on them. They are doing exactly what they need to do, which supports then the team because it motivates us and gets us hammered on Kool-Aid.
Absolutely. And I think this ties into something that to be honest, I forgot Miko wasn't going to be here because I was really looking forward to having this discussion with him, because we kind of went back and forth in the texts, and I'm going to talk about it anyway because he's not here to defend himself. So,
oh boy.
But what you had just said is like, I don't know if other teams if other teams do this with their media, if they do fun things like this. So it would be very easy for someone to come in and say, well, that's what the Lions should be doing. And I want to, in the way that Sam Flannel picked a nit with Darren McCarty, I'm going after a much more abstract target. I want to pick a nit with this word should. And I think for everyone's just overall mental health, I think they should get it out of their vocabulary. Because I think when we talk about sports, I think that's what leads us astray, or like that's what trips us up more than anything. And that's because it creates expectations that exist only in our head. And the exchange that I'm referring to with Miko happened with, I made a comment about how all the beat writers are commenting on how good Jared Goff looked in OTAs, that his reads, his passes were crisp. He was actually throwing spirals, which we've commented many times on this show about, but he was hitting receivers in stride. And Miko said, well, yeah, but he should be doing that. He's a quarterback one, he's making tens of millions of dollars as the quarterback one. He's a veteran. That's what he should be doing.
He should be hitting those passes. Yes, correct.
And he said they're not even in pads. He has no hands in his face. He's not at risk of getting hit. He absolutely should be.
Yes,
and on one hand, yes, Miko is correct. And my point was that yes, he should be doing those things, but he was not doing those things last year. So it's perfectly valid to point that out this year, because there is something he was not capable of last year that this year he is capable of. Completely removing the word should, completely removing any expectation or, addition of value, bringing your own personal value baggage to this figure, stat, accomplishment, whatever you want to call it. He wasn't doing this last year, and we know how poorly he played in the first half of the season, first 3 quarters of the season. And now he is doing these things. So it's okay to take a look at improvement and say, hey, that's improvement. That's a good thing. It's good that he's doing this thing that he wasn't capable of doing last year. And I think it just strikes me as this thing of, we had this chorus of people, rightfully so, saying our quarterback sucks. We don't have a quarterback one. How many interceptions? He spins into sacks. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And then this year, it's like, oh no, he actually looks pretty good. And people, well, that's how he should look. It's like, just take the win. Just take,
Right.
just take the good news when you get it. I mean, sure, that's what a quarterback is supposed to be doing in the NFL. But I feel like this word should leads us to place value on things that we kind of shouldn't. And that that it's, in my opinion, for my own mental health, it was much, as I said last week, I was getting way too emotionally invested. And what really helped me was just to kind of take things as they came. And this is something, taking it as it comes. Jared Goff looked X last year in OTAs, and now he looks Y, and it's different and it's better. So I'm taking that as a good thing, unequivocally.
Yeah, I mean, I agree it is a good thing. I think there's so much on top of that, right? John, to your point, yes, like it's his second year here too, right? I don't think we talk enough about the issues or complications or obstacles of the transition he had to make coming from LA to Detroit, right? So just me relating to him, there's been a change in my job, day-to-day job. I was moved to something I was very happy with and to something I'm not as happy about, right? And so I feel like Jared had the same thing. Like he went from A to B, and it's like, okay, well, this isn't a championship team here. You know what I mean? But I saw him interview, and I don't know if you sent it, but he was interviewed recently. I think it was last week, and he was just saying, no, but this is where I thrive. Like when I was in Cal, like it was like 1-11. Like we were terrible, and we built it, right? The Rams, when I was at the Rams, we built it. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Right. And he goes, I'm here again. He goes, and there's nothing better or sweeter than turning a franchise around. You can't replicate that. And so if that's his mentality, and that's like, he won me over. I've not been a Jared Goff fan at all. Zero. And so when I heard that, I was like, oh shit. Okay. I might have to get a Goff jersey. Okay. All right. Let me see. Can you stay healthy for at least 10 games? Give me at least 10 games. Be healthy so we can win hopefully 7 of them. Then I'll buy in. And it's good to say and nice to hear, but I think he meant it. It was a small podcast. It wasn't like a big one. And I think he meant it. Like, I've been part of teams rebuilding, and I've done it. So I've done like more than once. That's the other thing too, is more than once. So you got to give him credit for weathering the storm last year and showing up this year, right? You could easily shut down, be injured, not have to do it. I got a contract, right? Who cares? Some stipulations, but like, he doesn't, obviously he's playing for his future, but I just think that he has kind of won me over in this offseason. And that was really the moment, right? Was that interview. Now he's got to show it.
I was just gonna say, I can hear Miko. I can hear Miko in my head saying he's still got to show it on the field.
Well, right. I mean, Miko's that wrong,
but of course he's got to
show it. I mean, but that's obvious. He should show it, right? Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, well, we'll see, right? I mean, we will see. We got a lot of pieces this year. We'll see what happens. Jameson's got to get healthy. I mean, I don't think we're going to see the real team till midseason.
Yeah.
Right. The full team till midseason, if not the end of the season. So again, I worry about the beginning of the season struggles. Now we have a better schedule this year, so that should help. But still, it's the NFL, man. All these teams need a win. And, the Lions they're not the best team. So can we win in those moments? And to me, back to what we talked about with Darren, with Sam Flannel being ridiculous, is culture being able to win these games. No, straight up, like culture,
Yeah.
coaching, doing the little things right. And those role players like Darren McCarty, fourth liner, doesn't care. I don't care about stats. I'm here to win this fourth down. Those are the guys. And that is how the Lions, I think, will win this year. And that's why I think they'll be successful. And that's why I think that that they will win those 7 games, if not 8, hopefully more, but at least 7 they got to win. So
Yeah.
to me, that's how I bring it full circle. And that's why we dug in about the McCarty and Sam Flannel thing so deep.
And that's how you do a show.
And that's it.
Good word.
What?
That's how you do a show.
Yeah.
You pull these meta threads, and at the end of it, you got a sweater. Yeah. On that note, I think thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you all. And good luck to Miko and the crew, the fam.
Yeah.
You guys, girls, go. Get us a medal, And if you don't, you're still winners in our book because you're being questionable. So having said that, we appreciate everybody, and we will have some updates next week. So this is the Questionable Podcast. Out.